Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. From the Daily Wire. This is not over. Governor Abbott vows to defend Texas authority to secure the border after SCOTUS sides with Biden. Now, before we go on, in all fairness, we have to be fair here. The court did rule against Texas, saying that the federal government can cut the barbed wire put up by the Texas public safety authorities, state police, and such. But only temporarily, until the Fifth Circuit Court rules on a case that's pending right now on the authority of Texas to do that. And that will be done by February 7th. So that's 2 weeks from now. So I'm not thrilled about the fact that Amy Coney Barrett, well, Roberts I expected, but they went along with the Biden administration just temporarily. So I have to put that in there to be factual and accurate. Governor Greg Abbott, Republican of Texas, vowed to continue to fight for his state's right to secure the southern border after the Supreme Court sided with the Biden administration on Monday, ruling that federal officials may cut through razor wire that Texas installed to repel illegal immigrants. I'm glad they put illegal. 90% of the mass media put in migrants only. They are unlawful. It's just a simple fact. It's not an ideological thing. It's not a shot against anybody. It happens to be a statement of fact. After Texas installed 30 miles of razor wire along the southern border, the U.S. Border Patrol repeatedly cut through the wire to allow illegal migrants to enter the country. I have to say this right straight out. Those Border Patrol agents that did that, they allowed these people to come in just following orders. We've heard that before. We heard that at Nuremberg, if you remember. Just following orders doesn't cut it anymore. All those Border Patrol agents took an oath. I'm under orders. I'll tell you the truth. If I was Donald Trump, President Trump, the minute that I walked in to the Oval Office, if he wins, an executive order that every single Border Patrol officer that aided and abetted the illegal smuggling, human trafficking of migrants in the United States by doing that is immediately fired, and their pensions are taken away from them no matter how many years served. Period. Used to hear this from police officers during 2020 when they were locking down things. I'm just following orders. I'm really tight, we'll say, and get along with local law enforcement, because I used to be a local elected official who's been endorsed by the local police every time I ever ran. Those guys in the Border Patrol, men and women, should have their pensions taken away. There has to be a penalty for this. I'm following orders from Mayorkas, the head of Department of Homeland Security, is not enough. After Texas installed about 30 miles of razor wire along the southern border, the U.S. Border Patrol repeatedly cut through the wire to allow illegal immigrants to enter the country. Texas filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration, saying the federal government damaged state property and was trespassing, according to NBC News. In a 5-4 ruling on Monday, the Supreme Court granted an emergency request from the Biden administration to allow agents to cut through the wire after the feds argued that the barrier prevented them from reaching illegal migrants who had already crossed the border. That's a lie. But who tells the truth in court, right? This is not over, Abbott said, responding to the ruling. Texas razor wire is an effective deterrent to illegal crossings, Biden encourages. I would continue to defend Texas' constitutional authority to secure the border and prevent the Biden administration from destroying our property and our country. Now let's take a look at a couple of posts on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. One is from Tucker Carlson. So it's unanimous. Everyone in power, from the White House to the hedge fund managers to the Supreme Court of the United States, has decided to destroy the country by allowing it to be invaded. That leaves the population to defend itself. Where are the men of Texas? Why aren't they protecting their state and the nation? Then from John Rich, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republic form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. That's pretty much spelled out. Let's check out one more post from the Department of Safety from the state of Texas. And this is from Chris Olivares, I believe it's pronounced, Lieutenant. The state of Texas, under Governor Greg Abbott, Texas's Operation Lone Star, will maintain its current posture in deterring illegal border crossings by utilizing effective border security measures, reinforced concertina wire, and anti-climb barriers along the Rio Grande. The logical concern should be why the federal government continues to hinder Texas's ability to protect its border, all while allowing for the exploitation, dangerous, and inhumane methods of permitting illegal migrants, including children, to illegally cross a dangerous river where many have lost their lives. Texas is the only state using every strategy and resource to protect its sovereignty, combat criminal activity, and discourage illegal migration. Hashtag Texas will continue to hold the line. And then from Greg Abbott, the governor, this is not over. Texas razor wire is an effective deterrent to illegal crossing Biden encourages. One thing I want to mention before we get off of this and go back to the story is the fact that my understanding is over 85,000 minors, and I mean minors, I don't mean 17-year-olds, are unaccounted for that were allowed into the country that just disappeared into the ether. I think we have a good idea what happened to them. Can't go into details here because this website won't allow it, of course. And this is what Biden voters, this is what you're voting for. Legal human trafficking. It's really that simple. Before we go on, well, let's read this first. Abbott also reposted a statement from the Texas Department of Public Safety spokesman Chris Olivares, who said state authorities will continue to use reinforced concertina wire and anti-climbing barriers to help stop the flow of immigrants. Okay? State of Texas, under Governor Abbott, will maintain its current posture in deterring illegal border crossings by utilizing effective border security measures, reinforce the concertina wire, and anti-climbing barriers. Before we continue with this statement, I want to this scenario. Here come the federal agents, Border Patrol, all armed with sidearms, as they should be. Also, we have Department of Safety, i.e. Texas State Police, there as well, armed. And you're standing there guarding as a Texas State Police officer. You're part of the border where that wire is. And the feds come in. What happens? What happens when a handful of Texas State Police say no and block their way? All it takes is for one person on either side that's having a really bad day, a really bad week, or a really bad month to pull their sidearm and demand that they move. And then, of course, the Texans will respond in kind. All it takes is one person to do something stupid. As I said before, at Lexington and Concord, nobody knows to this day who fired the first shot. But I know that after that shot was fired, all hell broke loose. And it ignited a just an unbelievable swell of dislike and freedom in the United States. It's like throwing a match on some gasoline. It's going to explode. And where is that match going to be? Who knows? The logical certain should be why the federal government continues to hinder Texas' ability to protect its border, all while allowing for its exploitation, dangerous, and inhumane methods of permitting illegal migrants, including children, to illegally cross a dangerous river where many have lost their lives. Texas is the only state using every strategy and resource to protect its sovereignty, combat criminal activity, and discourage illegal migration. Texas will continue to hold the line. Like I said, if they block a federal, in this case Border Patrol, from cutting and removing wire and one of them draws their sidearm and says, back off, bad things can happen. And I pray that doesn't happen. I honestly do. But it could very easily happen. And that's the spark to ignite a much bigger crisis. Republican appointed Justice John Roberts, who I expected, and Amy Coney Barrett joined the court's 3 liberal justices in a 5-4 ruling. The High Court's ruling, however, now this is the important part. This is not final. It is not final, as it is simply allows Border Patrol agents to cut through the concertina wire while litigation continues. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is still weighing the full case and will hear oral arguments on February 7th. Unfortunately, it takes time. Too long, I think. But that's really true. It's only temporary. So those of you that threw Amy Coney Barrett under the bus, I give her a little bit of slack, even though I don't like it at all. I think the barbed wire should have stayed up, waiting for the court's ruling in the Fifth Circuit. But I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a Supreme Court justice. Since President Biden took office 3 years ago, Customs and Border Protection has encountered roughly 8 million illegal migrants. That's in 3 years, folks. That's in 3 years. So there it is. Governor Abbott vows to fight on. I mean, what else can he do? He can't lay down to this. It's funny you have the Manhattan Institute in the background. They must have been a big hit there. It's amazing to me. Look at Arizona. New Mexico is ultra blue. Arizona is a purple state as far as I'm concerned. California, of course, is ultra blue. Why are they crossing in Texas? I don't know. Maybe it's just easier map-wise. It's a lot shorter distance to go because Texas is pretty far down south. Eagle Pass and other border crossings. I don't know how in the world the next president, if it is Donald Trump, is going to deport 10 million people with all the legal litigation that's going to go on. I read somewhere that Dwight Eisenhower in the 50s deported over 1.5 million illegal migrants. So obviously it can be done. Right now, we just need a deterrent to stop the flow. We can't do anything about the people that are here, unfortunately, legally, because of the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security, i.e. Border Patrol, is run by Biden. Well, I won't say Biden, but Biden's people. And they want it to continue. I'll tell you the truth, honestly. I think they know they're going to lose. They have some internal polling and some internal knowledge. They see that the Hispanic vote, I hate to put people in categories, but the Hispanic vote is going way up for Republicans, especially Trump. And in the African American vote, especially black males, have a huge percent for Trump. And they see these numbers, they must have internal polls. And they see these numbers, and the Democrats are scared to death. I think they know they're going to lose. Now, whether they lose big or they lose small, who knows? But their strategy seems to be, we're going to burn this place down so you don't get it. We're going to leave this country in such bad shape as we possibly can. It's kind of like when Germany was invading Russia in World War II, the scorched earth policy. As the Germans advanced on, the Russians burnt everything down, took every scrap of food, anything the Germans could use, they just burned or took with them. The scorched earth policy, it's called. And as the Germans advanced, they couldn't use any of the resources because there weren't any. And that didn't, as winter came, that really was a deterrent to them advancing into the Soviet Union. Well, I see this as the same. We're going to burn this place down, metaphorically, of course, so that way the new administration or the new Congress or the new Senate will have such a difficult time, it'll be impossible for them to try to bring this back. And that, folks, is a different kind of evil. Especially, especially to your own country and to the tens, if not hundreds of millions of people that will suffer for it. If we can't have it, you can't have it either. It's like a divorced couple. And one of the people in a divorce loses their house. So they burn it down so the other one can't have it. This is in essence what's happening. What do you think? Well, we're going to see. The courts move slowly, unfortunately, but we have to have hope that the system still works, at least in part. Are you for Texas? Do you think Governor Abbott's doing the right thing? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.